Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, the Sports Firm. We got our special guest here, Darian Barnes, who's a former NFL football player with a Super Bowl title from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He also played with Dallas, Miami, the Jets, Buffalo, Detroit, and New Orleans. Darian, how you doing today? We got to promote your charity event. I'm Joe. We got Faz on my right, Keith on my left, and Sal right next to you. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Pleasure to have you. Pleasure to have you. Really appreciate it.
All right, I'm going to just go over it real quickly, the event that we're going to do here with Darian Barnes, and then he's going to tell you a little more about the camp events. So it's Pros vs. Heroes. That'll be on the 27th at 8 p.m. The camp will be held June 26th. It will be at Toms River North High School, and it's the Gridiron Gang's holding. It's a nonprofit organization giving adolescents new goals. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your organization and the charity event that we'll be helping you out with a little bit?
Gridiron Gang's been around for the last 5 years. I've been working with another former player named Darian Gregory, played for Tampa, Cleveland, Oakland, Miami, and Detroit. And we've been putting on camps in underprivileged and sometimes really impoverished areas for the last 5 years. This particular camp we're doing in Toms River is called the Pro Player Football Camp. It's in my hometown of Toms River, New Jersey. It's going to be a two-day event. Younger kids can come for the first session, which is from 8 to 11:30, and then high schoolers come from 1 o'clock to 4:30 p.m. I'm really proud and excited to have it in my hometown. It's the first camp of its kind in that area since I've been a kid. So we're gearing up for it. I've got 15 former and current players coming. The active players are going to be Mohamed Sanu, Tim Wright, Brandon Jones, and Khalil Gall, and Marvin Booker, who was coming in the CFL. They're all Rutgers guys. Very excited to be a part of the camp. They're all New Jersey guys too, so that was another thing I really wanted to get. I wanted to get New Jersey, NFL players so that the kids can see that we're all, there's a lot of players out of their state. Some of the former players that are coming are Roman Logan, played for the Giants, and also played with me in Tampa Bay. Dan Klecko, it was funny, I played against Dan at every level of football, high school, college, and NFL. We played against each other, so we stay close. Another guy's, his name escapes me, I see him all the time, Donnie Klein, who's from Manasquan, played in the AFL for 12 years, a couple of rings, I believe with the Crush and the Lightning, I think he's got rings with. So we definitely have a high caliber of athletes that kids are going to be learning from. There's many more athletes that I haven't mentioned, but it's going to be a great time. Kids will learn a great deal. They'll be put in a training camp setting. They're going to get coached hard. They're going to work hard. They're going to learn how to practice smart and how to compete.
Is there a website our fans can go to check out more about this?
Yeah, you can go to proplayerfootballcamp.com. You can check out more about the information there about the camp and about the Pros vs. Heroes game. It's a game that I'm really excited about. We are going to be playing Toms River Police, Fire, and EMS services.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great. And Darian's organization also does some scholarships for youth for these camps, correct?
Yes. Particularly for the game, the proceeds are going to the Toms River Policemen's Benevolent Association Scholarship Fund. There are 4 high schools in Toms River, and one student from each high school will be receiving the reward money. So
It's real good.
Excited about
That's
that.
fantastic.
Great.
It's great to give all the kids a chance to compete and be at this camp. I mean, there's going to be a lot of proven NFL football players there, and I mean, you played for a long time. Is there any possibility that a buddy from my hometown is going to be there?
Yeah, I forgot. Actually, Antonio Garay, 10-year player, played for Cleveland, the Jets, and San Diego will be there. His brother Danny played in the AFL for the New York Jackets, will be there as well. They're also going to be playing on the team. So, yeah, I just wanted to get as many New Jersey guys as possible. I know that there are a lot of camps around the country, and guys are flying into them. But I knew that there's so much New Jersey talent here that we can get them all in one spot, and we can teach these New Jersey athletes what it means to play some real New Jersey football.
There you go. It's not all about Texas and down south. There's some real New Jersey guys out there, right?
I was lonely those 8 years. You go in there, everybody's from California and Texas. It's like, I'm from Jersey. And you're like, what?
Oh.
Come on.
I mean, now there's a lot
got
of
a
good
few
New Jersey
guys,
players.
There's a lot of great New Jersey players, and I think it's a trend that can only go up. You know, people are kind of seeing, especially we get a lot of talent from parochial schools and everything like that. But even down South Jersey, the public school system is fantastic.
I was going to say, you see, one of the biggest stars on the Giants right now is a Jersey guy, Victor Cruz.
Absolutely,
Hey, there he
absolutely.
is.
So you know, I think, like I said, I think it's only going to get better. You know, I was coaching at Towns of North last year, and I saw a lot of great talent. And I think we're going to hear about a lot of these people, coming up in the next couple of years.
What was your favorite football coach to play for?
That was my question.
Taking it, baby.
I had a couple favorite football coaches for different reasons. When I first, got into the league and was with Tampa and playing for John.
Yes.
That must have been crazy.
I love
It's
John
crazy.
Gruden.
It's crazy because he's so, like, the way you see him on TV,
Yeah.
he's like that all the time.
Really?
So you have to.
How do you have energy all throughout the day? Like
I don't know, and especially because he doesn't sleep. So I really don't know.
It's called Mountain Dew.
And you're forced to match his energy, like, constantly. So I think that's what I like playing him. And then in Dallas for Bill, he's a tuna. Like, he's just
Right.
he's
That's
sarcastic. He's he's a kind of a matter of fact, firm but fair coach. And I respected him. I talked to Bill till this day. I respect the hell out of him. He's a great coach. Those two guys, to me, were and even I was my last year at the Saints with Sean Payton. Sean, I met Sean at my time when I was at Dallas and the Giants briefly. So Sean was a great coach to play for too.
Wow. Is there anybody you're still really close with that you played with?
Damian, who's the executive director of the Gridiron Gang. I still talk to Roman Oben, who's another a Giant and Tampa Big Buck, and a lot of the Bucks who I kind of played with in that Super Bowl year, we still keep in contact with each other.
Speaking of that Super Bowl year, what's it like to just, every kid, I know my dream as a kid was growing up and just winning a Super Bowl, but I'm 5'8", and, 2 bad knees later and 140 pounds. It's not happening, so.
I'm sure you had a chance anyway with the good knees.
Oh, thanks. But just what's that like, walking into that stadium and seeing all the fanfare and then actually winning, and,
I tell everybody when they ask me, what was it like playing Super Bowl? Because at the end of the day, it's just a game, but it's the pageantry around the team that's pretty much insane. And I'm in the tunnel, and we're waiting to go out, and they're doing all the announcements and stuff like that. And Arnold Schwarzenegger starts talking to me. And I'm like, he's like, hey, how you doing, man? Have you enjoyed it out here? He's like sparking up a conversation. I'm like, the Terminator is talking to me in the tunnel, and I'm like,
you are going to go out there and win.
I went crazy. I was crying like a little schoolgirl.
yeah. So like that to me is like that was a Super Bowl, and I'm like freaking out, like, wow, and then the second part we won the game, the confetti's coming down. I was a huge 49er fan as a kid. Like, I loved Joe Montana, Roger Craig, the whole, I obsessed. And I'm looking for Jerry Rice. Like, hey, I was your biggest fan. I finally find him. Like, hey, thanks, man. I love watching you and care less. I just got stomped. So
Yeah, right.
He can absolutely care less than whatever thing. And I just thought that was kind of funny too. But it's nutty because it's at the end of the day you're still playing and even just being on the field and I got 2 tackles and I'm in there blocking and just it's a game. It's like any other game, but at the end of it, when you're winning, you're gonna win. It's I can't describe the feeling. I really can't.
All right, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Darian Barnes, and there's an event in Toms River North High School, June 26th and the 27th, Pros vs. Heroes, a charity event. And we got him here. We're just asking him some football questions, seeing how it's going, trying to promote the event.
While we're on the topic of that Super Bowl, you actually found your way onto that team after being an undrafted free agent. You played for the Giants in training camp.
Whoop.
And so I just want you to touch real quick. You had some perseverance, man. You were an undrafted free agent. You went into camp with the Giants. You got cut. And you still found your way onto the Bucs. You still kept working hard. You still kept fighting, and you found your way onto a Super Bowl champion team. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your perseverance and?
Well, that was a crazy 6 weeks with the Giants. I'd come in as a free agent. I was signed the first day of training camp. I didn't go through mini camp. I didn't go through any summer workouts. I had no idea what the offense was. And I was the 5th fullback on the roster. And basically had no chance of making the team. I was literally camp fodder. And I remember the couple days I'm there, my head's spinning. I'm up late at night trying to study the offense. I got to catch up. And I got finally, my first interview was, I forget the guy's name, but he basically was like, so how does it feel to know you're not going to make the team? Basically goes out and says this to me. I was like, oh, I think I got a shot. I'm working hard. Anything's possible. And he says, well, what are you going to do if you? He said, what are you going to do if you don't make it? I said, well, I like drawing and writing comic books. I think I'm going to do something like that. And he goes, well, tell me a story about one of your comics. I go, sure. So I tell him the story. Go through practice, and I wake up the next day, and my dad calls me. It's like 5:30 in the morning. He goes, hey son. I go, hey dad. He goes, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. He goes, are you sure? There's nothing you want to tell me. I go, no, Dad, I'm good. He goes, you got a paper around you? I'm like, no. He's like, I'm going to read you something in the sports section. I want to tell me what you think.
Holy crap.
Uh-oh.
All right. He goes, okay, here we go. If Darian Barnes doesn't make the New York Giants roster, he's going to go to Ohio and fight vampires.
What?
So I was like, well, I didn't say that. He goes, are you sure you didn't say it? Because it's here in the paper. Do you want to fight vampires? If you don't want to play football, just come home. I told the guy a story about one of the comic books I wrote. I didn't know he was going to say, I want to go to Ohio and fight vampires. But it was like, that's like my first real lesson, don't say anything.
Right. It just goes to show how the media twists everything up, right?
It's crazy. But before that, no one knew my name. Not even like Fossil or Sean Payton. Everybody called me Herschel. So I was like Herschel Walker. And after that, I got called Buffy for like 2 weeks.
Man.
That's rough.
But it was the great thing was I worked hard. I played. I had some really good preseason games, and they were going to put me in the practice squad. The last day, it's actually me and Ryan Clark are the last 2 guys that are for the last roster spot.
Right.
And they gave it to Ryan and said, hey, we're going to put you in the practice squad, and this is a win for you, which it was, because who was I, And went home, celebrated, and it just was great. And went back to the building the next day, because you have to leave as soon as they tell you they're going to put you in the practice squad. You have to leave the building. So you leave.
Right.
I come back that morning, and Fossil says, he goes, Darian, and I go, you know my name? He goes, oh yeah, I know your name.
Thanks, Coach.
He goes, Darian, he goes, we're gonna have to tell you to leave again because you're gonna get picked up by Tampa off waivers. And I didn't even know what waivers is. I have no clue. I'm like, well, so he's like, you gotta go, son. Congratulations, you're gonna be able to roster in Tampa.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And sure enough, they called, said, hey, we're gonna pick you up, and 2 hours later, I'm gonna flight to Florida, and that's kind of where everything started.
It's funny how the NFL works like that sometimes, man.
It was a blessing.
It is, and it's very stressful. The older I got, and I had children, I was married, I was bouncing around, but it gave me, I got to see the country,
Right,
and it gave me a sense of the culture and in different places, and I got to meet different people and kind of understand, basically on a macro level how the country works and how things go down in different places. So that part of it was great, but it's being a journeyman. It's exhausting. It really was. But I wouldn't trade for the world. So it's a great experience.
Right.
One of my friends is actually he's a flight attendant, but he's a Tampa Bay Buccaneers season ticket holder.
Okay.
So he lives up here, flies down there every other Sunday or whatever it is, and he hangs out down here. He would get a kick out of this. Can't wait to rub this in his face.
I'm sure that Becky was extremely patient and totally okay and didn't bust your chops too much. She's such a nice lady. I hope she's listening. I'm getting a little plug in there.
She's awesome. Yeah, that's my plug. That's it.
I had a question. I was doing a little research and I saw at one point in your career, Buffalo was trying to bring back the fullback in their offense, and they wanted you to be that guy. Was that a big moment? I mean, it seemed they really want you.
I thought it was a great moment, and had the first 4 games, was in there playing, and it just I kind of came at a time where I think blocking fullbacks just were not in, and you know, we go 4-0. I'm on the roster. I get a bruised heel and miss a game, and they start using linemen to play fullback, and I was like, you know, here we go again, because that's what I had just experienced, and they released me. I think they brought another fullback, but that guy was more of a teamer, special teams guy. Mm-hmm. And you know what? At that point, I think I think I got old. You know, I think just as far as the hitting and the, you know, kind of looking back on it, it was just, I was tired. You know, I like mentally, just from going from place to place, and you know. But I still got a chance to go to Detroit after that. I was part of that 0-16 fiasco for a month, and you know, and finished with New Orleans. So it still was, like I said, it was a great opportunity.
And that leads to the next question. Me and Keith were talking about this earlier before you came in, and we were wondering if don't worry, I got to look. I thought you were going to attack me, Foz.
I was looking at you.
But do you think the blocking fullback is making a little bit of a comeback? Because, you know, there's a few guys that are, no, not really. Can you give us a little bit of your opinion on it?
The NFL now is, to me, the blocking fullback is, it's kind of gone by the wayside, primarily because we've got a running quarterback. We got the run. That's the first thing. Everybody's so high up on the spread offense, and now we're doing read options, and we want to, you know, it's like air ball. So I don't think the blocking fullback is ever going to make a big comeback. I think there's going to be some great ones. You know, I don't even know if Vonta Leach got picked back up.
I'm
John
not sure if he did. I don't think he did.
We released John Kuhn. I mean, I don't think we've re-signed him.
Giants look at Hynoski, but
and Vonta Leach was probably the best blocking fullback in the last. Got to be
the last good one. You
Since
think, right?
All-Stop.
Yeah, he's got to be the last. He's got to be the last good one.
The last of the fullbacks.
He is. Yeah, he definitely is the last of us, and it's just we kind of everything's kind of predicated on the quarterback, and I think that's really what you're seeing nowadays. A lot of the coaches that come up from college are used to running the spread offenses there and the options there and the wildcats and things like that, and I think the playing is taken out of the control of the players, and it's more with the coaches now. You know, everybody's trying to.
It's more like a system.
Yeah, and everything's a system. Everybody's trying to outsmart each other. I think, you know, that year we won the Super Bowl, we were a West Coast offense, but, you know, John had me and Mike in the backfield, and at some point it's like, you just gotta come stop us. You know what we're doing. Like, I'm in the game. We're running the ball. So, you just, you know, stop. And I think, you know, when you got the year Baltimore won, they had Vonta Leach. I mean, and he had great hands, and he wasn't. It wasn't that he wasn't a. He could do other things, but I mean, he just was such a devastating blocker. He just, you know, and even like I look at John Connor, who's a great
The Terminator.
who's a great blocking fullback.
That guy can hit.
And it's just, to me, football now it's not. It's more athletes than less football players. Which is, I mean, that's what the NFL is now. That's fine. It's I still watch. I'm not gonna not watch it.
Yeah.
But it just. You don't see that like football player, and I think that's what made Ray Lewis so great. Ray Lewis is a football player. I mean, he's an incredible athlete.
Brian Urlacher.
Or Brian,
like that.
these guys were football players. You know, now we've got, you know, and we've not take away from his amazing athlete. You got Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham is awesome. He's an amazing receiver. Won't block a soul.
Thank you.
But he's an amazing receiver.
He's like a slot receiver, man.
And that's what he is. But I think that's what we.
I love that. Won't block a soul.
That seems to be the direction the league is going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there any team, like when you were playing, that you just loved playing them?
No, you know, the only time I've ever felt that way. A lot of time, you know, it's you know, we love football, but it's a job, and you're gonna line up and play, and you know, you're gonna be compensated for it. So you're not like, oh, I don't stand these guys. The only time I've ever felt like that, really, was my rookie year playing against the Eagles, and it wasn't even the players. It's the fans. I couldn't.
Everyone hates Philadelphia. And you're from New Jersey, so
Yeah,
you know.
But I like.
And you're from South Jersey, on top of being from New Jersey.
But it wasn't like I don't hate them anymore because we kicked the crap out of them.
There you go.
And it's. But it was just that first game they beat us. I think it was like 20-10 they beat us. But it was awful. Like, you couldn't go out and get food.
Like everything you heard about those Philly fans was true.
True.
The NFC Championship game, I was eating dinner with Kenny Mayne. We're at the Capitol Grill.
Awesome.
Main event.
And I go to order my food, and he puts my hand on and goes, "I'll order your food." And it's like, because you don't know what you're gonna
Wow.
get. And it's just people, if they know you're a buck, they're yelling at you in the streets, and so we didn't really go anywhere.
Wow.
And I remember beating them. We knew we were gonna win. It was quiet in the church mouse. That's the last game of the vet.
Yeah.
It was quiet in the church mouse. And there were grown men like in the stands crying. I had never seen that. Like at any level of football, like thousands of grown men like crying, upset because I mean out of all the NFC Championship games that they were in, like that was their baby.
Well, you gotta admit they don't win much.
Oh,
Oh no, I mean
I'll tell you,
they got there
there's
4-5.
there's nothing I love more than seeing Philadelphia sports fans crying.
oh man, we're getting all this buck paraphernalia. My parents, my family, and they're at the lower level. So we get all this paraphernalia, the hats and the newspapers and stuff like that we won. And I'm walking over to my dad. I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I got it." He's like, "What are you doing? Get away, crazy! Get out of here!" So I got like this sad puppy dog face. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." My dad just rejected me in the NFC Championship game. And I just told him to get away.
Oh, it's like the movies, De Niro and Bradley Cooper, where they just cry when the Eagles lose.
Yeah, but
Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah, Silver Linings
The bad
Playbook.
juju.
So yeah, but I mean that was like the only time I really felt like we got to beat these guys. If we don't, I'm going to throw myself off a bridge.
A little
Well,
something
luckily,
about your. You said you write comic books, right?
Yeah,
Tell us about National Trumpet League. Trumpet League.
it's called the Triumph.
Triumph League. Wow. Wow, dude.
Yeah, we
Dude.
apologize on behalf of
Penalty box.
Yeah,
No. Let's take it
That is
easy.
in the penalty box.
Not for real.
That's
Sorry about
that's
that.
roughing the guest. That's a 15-yard penalty.
Totally had a brain fart on that one. Sorry about that.
No, it's cool.
Darian.
It's cool. The National Triumph League is a story that I wrote with a co-partner of mine. Basically, it's the best way to describe it is X-Men meets professional football.
That
Professional
sounds
sports.
so
Nice.
badass.
I would read that.
That's so badass.
Superheroes called triumphants are they play, they're traded, they're drafted to a government organized league between 10 teams around the country
Yeah.
that catch supervillains, or we call them in the story Moriarty's.
Okay.
Okay.
So it just basically puts a very real a sports business aspect to the Justice League.
Okay.
Nice.
Sounds interesting to me. I'll check it out.
I mean, if you ever need new characters, sportcasters. I mean,
Oh,
what's his nickname over there? We got the
Don
bad guy of
Salvo.
sports. We got Big Daddy Chris Foz. We got some extra characters.
You're embarrassing me.
All right, for those listening, June 26th and 27th, Pros vs. Heroes charity event. Darian Barnes and the Gridiron Gang will be hosting it. They got circuit training, football instruction, competitive drills, flag football, pro player guest speaker, and the Pros vs. Heroes charity game, which will be on the 27th at 8 p.m.
Do you have to buy tickets, or is it just a donation, or how's this work?
Well, the tickets are basically donation because the proceeds are going to the scholarship.
Of course, of course.
You can buy tickets on if you go to ProPlayFootball.com, you can buy tickets. We use Everbright, which is a secure safe service to buy tickets. You can buy tickets there. You can buy tickets at the front gate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm too out of shape to do all this stuff, but
I would love to come down.
I would
seriously, and check
definitely
out.
give it a shot,
Times River North,
absolutely.
what is it, June 26th and 27th?
I'll give it one more time, and for everybody will be covering the event. Actually, there'll be some guys from the sports from there, especially Bobby O Productions will be covering it. It's on June 26th and 27th.
we should.
At 8 p.m. is the flag football game. The drills are on the 26th. In the morning are the younger kids, and then we got the high school kids
What about-
around 11 o'clock, I believe.
What about us washed-up college athletes that never really made it? Is there a time for us? Is there a time
Go
for us?
play intramurals, brother.
I play flag football in the ACFL. Go play.
Oh, you? Okay.
Yeah, go play.
There you go, Sal.
I used to play a little DE at a Turf City.
Oh,
Wait.
man. Don't get this guy started over here.
We should definitely broadcast the 26th.
Don Salvo shooting his mouth
We
off
should
as
get,
usual.
no, we should do the way Boomer and Carton gets a softball game every year. We should get like a flag football SportsFirm game.
Okay, tackle you.
guests.
Sounds like a plan.
Roger All to play quarterback.
Oh.
Dibs on Darian.
Damn it!
Running back.
Oh, man. Well, since he already took you, you got to put in a good word with me with Sanu. 'Cause
Oh,
I'll
damn
take
it.
him next.
Okay.
Uh,
What about
that'd be my
Cruz?
wideout.
You know Victor Cruz? Can I get Victor Cruz?
You could have Cruz. I'll get Antonio.
Here.
No?
So we're just gonna call up Brett Favre. It's over.
Oh, God.
All right.
Listen, I own one share. Oh yeah, I'm a minority owner of the Green Bay Packers.
So is everyone else in
Are you?
Wisconsin.
yeah, I am.
How's that work?
They after they won the Super Bowl, they released like a couple of thousand shares, whatever it is, and I bought them. I literally own stock in the Green Bay Packers company. That's pretty cool.
He tells everybody
I've
that
got a
will
Super
listen.
Bowl ring too, except mine's cubic zirconia. Yours is probably pretty real.
Yeah. I'm surprised we made it this far without hearing this much
I
about the
was
Green Bay
trying.
Packers,
I was trying to behave.
We should give you,
know,
a third gold star for the
you
show.
know
I
what's
think you
even-
got one. I think you
What's
got
even? I let it go. The Battle of the Bays almost every year. You know,
Oh, well,
I think
you-
I'm going this year to Tampa Bay. Green Bay's playing Tampa.
You know, Green Bay fans always talk about Green Bay. Man, it's so.
That's how we feel every week doing the show with this guy.
Thank you
love
so
Warren
much.
Sapp, man.
Thank you so much.
Green Bay
Warren Sapp,
fans-
Derek Brooks, I love those.
Green Bay fans are like narcissistic, and Jets fans are delusional. That's like no, like I Jets fans are. We're gonna win the Super Bowl every year.
No shot.
And it's like, and I remember when we were 6-10, I was at the Jets, and some guys like, we still got a chance, and I'm like, I play, don't. We're not a good team, and it's just, it's funny. Like listen to different people from different teams, and kind of they're all like the same person.
Right.
Nice, they're nice people. Green Bay. They're just-
Of course.
Not Sal.
We're the nicest fans in the world.
You're a 49ers fan, right?
As a kid, I'm not anymore. I just watch the game.
I was gonna say, you like how you're a big fan of Colin Kaepernick?
You know, if anybody, the two guys who really can run read option effectively is Kaepernick and Cam Newton. I think are the two guys. No, he can't. And you're talking, he can't. He's 160 pounds soaking wet.
What about Eli?
He can't move his feet.
Wait, who would you point to?
Okay, for those of you who aren't watching, we don't have it on the website yet already, obviously. I pointed to my Redskin helmet over there, and
He's a Redskin
RG3.
fan.
He's a great quarterback.
Darian hurt my feelings
He's a
today.
great, no, listen, I love his game, but he is not a read option quarterback. He's not. To me, he's a boot. He should be booting. Design runs, no option. But we're definitely gonna run it so that he knows like I gotta go down at some point. But he doesn't have the mass.
Can you do me and tell him on Monday Night Football when RG3 is in the game to stop thinking he's the greatest thing in the world since sliced bread?
He's an amazing. He is a dynamic quarterback. It's just not in the way that Kaepernick or Cam Newton are dynamic quarterbacks. So those guys, they can run the ball 15 times a game and be okay.
Which is fine, but to hear John Gruden tell it, it's like RG3 is the greatest quarterback of all
Because
time.
He's not?
No, he's not.
He's not.
No, I know that.
But he's definitely, I think, as far as talent as far as talent, he's got to be one of the top 10. As far as just raw.
Aaron Rodgers
talent.
still top 5.
Yeah.
Hate to say it.
Yeah.
We hate you, but we hate you.
Sal just likes pats on the back randomly. You can tell.
Speaking of read option quarterbacks, are you a fan of Johnny Football? I like that. Long pause because I can't stand him either.
It's not that I can't stand him. It's that he really has to show us something. I mean, if I was him, the two guys I'd watch the most, like intently, are Drew Brees and Russell Wilson. Because if you're not going to be anything other than that, then you might as well go home. Go play in the CFL. You can run around, do that kind of stuff, or go play in a lesser league. He's really got to watch those two guys. He can't. He can't. Go through his read progression, decide that the first guy isn't, deep enough or open enough to get it to, and then decide to run because he's gonna fall into the second year RG3 trap where RG3 was great and could run around and do those things, but at some point you're gonna have to sit back there and throw the ball. You're gonna have to throw it away, and if you don't, you're done.
Yeah, you're hurt.
Johnny doesn't have the skill set I think RG3 does. I think he's dynamic. I think he's got a little bit of that Tebow in him. I think he's
A little bit of it factor.
Yeah, I think he's got the it factor. I think
He's a winner.
Yeah, I think he's a winner, but it's Cleveland.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he just lost Josh Gordon for the year.
And it's Cleveland.
Right.
We got emphasis Cleveland.
Nobody wants to go to Cleveland.
Like I always say, ask Joe Kim know about that.
Yeah. Who wants to go to Cleveland?
So, we've had a great show today. We had a guest, Darian Barnes, and we're going to tell you one more time, Toms River North on June 26th and 27th, the Pros vs. Heroes. They're running a camp, the Gridiron Gang. It's going to be a great event. A lot of former football players, and of course our guest, Darian Barnes, will be there. So Darian, tell them where they could find this info one more time, and we're going to be getting out of here, folks, and then Sal will take you away.
All the info is on ProPlayerFootballCamp.com. You can get the info on the game, info on the camp, and check out our sponsors. Everybody's kind of made this camp possible.
And we'll post a link on the SportsFirm Facebook page. We will post a link to the
Yeah,
website so our
definitely.
listeners can check it
And
out.
we'll tell you where you can find it at YouTube also and Bobby O will direct you in the right direction. He's going to put some good production together for you guys.
Absolutely. Darren, we appreciate you hanging out with us, a couple extra minutes
No,
here.
thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks a million.
To all our fans out
Thank you
there,
so much.
we will see you next week. Everyone have a good week. Let's go Heat. No?
SportsFirm out.
Let's go Spurs, Heat.
SportsFirm out.
Take care, guys.